Yo, welcome back to the Culture and Cannabis podcast. We took last week off.
We did.
JC was getting married, so there was too much stuff to do. There was just too much stuff to do, so we couldn't do it. So sorry for no announcement. Sorry that we didn't say anything, but we're back. The wedding was phenomenal.
Did you have a good time?
I had a great time, bro. I had such a great time. The food was fantastic. The vibes were fantastic. I almost got teary-eyed.
I was crying all weekend. I still can't look at my Instagram reels, looking at my beautiful bride without crying. I mean, I'm in love, dude. You know what I mean?
You're married, bro.
I'm married and all that stuff.
You're married, bro.
Like I got the ring.
And now we got two coats now. We got two coats now in the company.
It's crazy, man. It's like she changed her Instagram name and everything.
JC Coates and Leilani Coates, man. It's crazy to think about. But,
I mean, it's commitment, dude. It's commitment. It's a part of our mantra.
Got the ring on, too.
I got the ring on.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to clap. My bad. I clapped right into the mic really bad. That you never want to clap right into the mic. It's like the biggest no-no. I'm just so excited, Rick. Sorry.
But yeah, man, listen, last week, we're kind of having an Oklahoma installment, right? We're gearing up for the return of our trip back to Oklahoma, coming up the 9th through the 13th. So I think, the last few weeks, we've had some incredible guests. We've had the CEO, founder of Charlie's Cannabis Company, Charlie himself was here talking about his launch coming up.
We had Morgan.
We had Morgan from High Voltage Cannabis Dispensary in the Plaza District.
We had the Sesh OKC kids.
Dude, the Sesh guys were here. Those guys, legends in the making, right? We're here last week. But listen, we have an incredible guest. Tony, who's in the building?
We don't only have one Jeff on the podcast today. We have two Jeffs today. We have Jeff Hooten, a.k.a. the Case God, in the motherfucking building. What's up? What up, bro?
Good afternoon.
I don't even know what's proper to call you. Like, I feel weird calling you Jeff because, like, you are the Case God to me.
You can call me whatever you want, man.
What
people
do
call me Case. There's one girl in particular that calls me Mr. God.
Mr. God?
Yeah, it's a little...
I mean, I don't mind the vibe, honestly.
But yeah, most of the time it's just Jeff or Case God.
Jeff or Case God. Listen, we got to meet Jeff and or Case God, however you want to call him. One of the first people we got to meet in Oklahoma.
Yep. Yes.
Which was like awesome. And like
let me preface this.
Yeah. Take it over. I don't want to fuck this up.
I mean, listen, we don't know. We're like, okay, we're in Vegas and we're like, okay, we want to go to Oklahoma. It's like, listen, okay, it's like putting your finger on a map. We're like, we're gonna go here, put the blindfold on, we're gonna go, right? So we don't know where we're going, right? It's like a step into the unknown.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And we started to try to like network through the Instagram and try to find like people really standing out in the community, that stick out on the Instagram. They're doing cool things. You found a few people. I found a few people. And I'm pretty sure that's how you stumbled across the Case guy.
Yeah,
I think, man, we literally walked into High Voltage because I was taking pictures for Morgan at the time.
Okay. Yes,
and I was like, wait a minute, I've seen you on Instagram. You're full-time Tony, aren't you?
It was me and
Case God.
It was me and Chuck, and we met there. And then right off the bat, we just kind of hit it off. He's like, "Yo, man, like I do a bunch of like stuff in town. Like I love what you're doing here. I do the same stuff." And he was showing me. I was like, "Oh, this is fucking dope." And he was literally taking photos while he was there. Yeah. And then him and Chuck started vibing because he was talking about Case God used to shoot Steve Aoki and all these other fucking crazy DJs, which Chuck used to do as well. So we just caught on like so many different levels. And
it was like seeing another cannabis media guy out in the field. You know what I mean?
It was like, wait, we do the same thing? All right, I'm friends with you, buddy. We're gonna be friends. And from right there, we just kind of forged a relationship, and it was like from day one. So, and then we got to come back when we came back again. Well, no, the second time because that was the first time we met. When we were out we stayed in OKC because we were living in Tulsa, and when you guys came back,
then we lined them up for a spotlight.
Spotlight.
The spotlight was sweet.
Yeah, and we have to do a spotlight on Jeff, aka the Case God.
Yes.
Which was great. If you haven't watched that, go check that out. That's on the Culture and Cannabis website, on the Instagram. Pretty much anywhere you can get our content, you can check out his spotlight. And you have such a great story, bro. And I don't want to tell it, so like let's just give like a little bit about who you are and like what you do.
So my name's Jeff. I go by Case God on Instagram. I'm Oklahoma's cannabis photographer. I just won an award for Oklahoma's best cannabis photographer a few months ago. I got started in photography because I kind of like to do drugs as a younger kid. So I most of the time just was by myself and like to people watch. So obviously took pictures and it just led to more and more things. Been able to do a lot of cool things with the camera, met a lot of cool people. I recently just shot a senior who was born with a club foot, ended up playing soccer, running track, and I shot her at a cannabis grow. So I feel like I highlight businesses and different people in a light that they wouldn't normally ever get to see.
Man, I mean, you hear the passion in there.
Yeah, how serious. I was just gonna say, like, I was like, man, that's real serious. Like what you do is like you're telling a story through your photos, and I love that you feel like you have a responsibility with that, right? And I love that. Why do you feel like you have a responsibility with the camera?
So I lost my dad on Father's Day, and there was always like a lot of pictures of him. And I want to be able to give people back those memories that I will never have. Just things like that, man. Like I've gotten to take a picture of this guy that was a quadriplegic, and his entire family saw that picture and cried because they've never gotten a good picture of him. Like it's those things like that bring my life satisfaction. And everybody's trying to find their purpose, and I think I definitely found mine.
I mean, you're damn good at it, bro.
You're gonna make me start crying over here, Jeff. All right, I've been crying all weekend. Come on, man. Jesus Christ.
JC likes to cry nowadays. JC starts working out at the gym, gets all these big muscles, and he's a crier.
I'm on my way, buddy.
Yeah, I see you, man. I see
every day in the gym. Man.
I mean, impact, right? Is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm obsessed with it too. You know, how did you learn that you could be impactful with the camera? Like, what was kind of like that first aha moment for you that you discovered that about yourself?
I don't really remember that aha moment other than the fact of getting a few really good pictures under my belt and finally someone looking at me with respect. Because coming from a drug addict's lifestyle, you're not respected. You're bottom of the barrel, you're this, you're that, you're called names and whatever. So once you're finished with being that person, you kind of have to fight for recognition, and I felt that way. And I feel like I finally got that respect and, you know, the attention that I wanted or sought after a few good family photo sessions.
That's dope, man.
Yeah.
And then how did you? So where were you born? You were born. You
California.
weren't born. You're born in L.A., right?
Yeah.
And so you went from L.A. to Oklahoma.
L.A. to New Mexico, which is where I was raised, and where I got into all kinds of trouble. I ended up going up to a rehab in Arkansas, which is a Christian rehab that also dealt. The next step was like a leadership course in which I fell into film. And I was talking with a female out here in Oklahoma and decided it was the best decision to move. And it was. Me and her are no longer together, but like I'm flourishing, I'm thriving. I would have never found passion where I was at before, and I'm super grateful for the people that I've met in Oklahoma.
And so you get to Oklahoma. Do you dive straight into cannabis,
No.
or like what is
No.
like? How did you get? How does young Jeff turn into the young Case God?
Just trial and error, mistakes. I started with a dream to go shoot at the Criterion, and it never happened. I ended up working at a tire center and just not giving up, trying to find my place in the world. Went from tire center to door-to-door salesman to vape. And when I got to the vape industry, I found out that I was really good with people and just good with customer service and things. That led to social media marketing. That led to a professional camera being in my hands for the first time at I think it was 2019. And then eventually the dispensary next door noticed what I was doing on social media for the vape company and asked if I was looking for work. That company is Oasis, and I love those people.
Dope.
Yeah.
Shout out to Oasis.
Shout
man.
out Oasis.
So then you pick up the camera, you go shoot Oasis, and then you just fall in love with the industry.
I fell in love with the industry. I didn't initially have my medical marijuana card, but I've never met nicer people in the entire world than you do and you have in the Oklahoma cannabis industry. I kind of had a little vision for a business while I was working as a bud tender to service people's grows with professional photos to help sell their product. Because at the time when I was taking photos, all the photos they had for marketing purposes were that from the testing facility. Terrible.
Yeah.
And that's where Capture Canna was birthed, which was the first kind of iteration of Case God. And then kept going from there.
And so now that you've been in the industry for almost 3 years now,
Yep.
3 years now, like what do you love doing most? Like now that, because you're so multifaceted, obviously you take a lot of photos, but you do social media marketing, you do pop-ups, you do sales, you work with brands. Like what is it that Case God likes to do the most?
Pop-ups. Even though I really don't like to do them, I get the most fulfillment out of doing pop-ups because of the lack of education in our industry right now, and getting to work for the place that I work at right now, which is very, they're after that education, they're after trust and transparent medicine, and getting to see the looks on those people's faces when they finally understand like what a terpene can do for them, or that they, don't have to keep trying to smoke this type of weed and keep feeling anxious. It's fulfilling.
That's dope, man.
Yeah.
The education is so important. When going out to Oklahoma, it's surprising to me that Oklahomans in general are a little bit more knowledgeable than the rest of the country when it comes to cannabis. You agree, JC?
Yeah, 100%.
And I think it's just because of how fast that market struck fire,
super
bro.
Fast.
It was like literally like a wildfire. Like no pun intended with the wildfires that are going on right now in the world, but super fast.
It was like a big shot of energy to that community, I think is why they responded so well.
Right?
When I started working at Oasis, they would sell edibles out of a Ziploc baggie, and now there's like 2 or 3 different compliancy things that you have to have on your packaging before it goes out the door. It's nuts how fast it grew and then got solidified. It's nuts.
What are you most excited about right now in the Oklahoma cannabis industry?
New business. I feel like a lot of people at the start, got their $2,500 together and anybody could have a business. And now that people are seeing that Oklahoma is a really profitable state, you have some really cool players coming to our state, and getting to work with those people. Like I've met some people from California that I now call best friends that I'm super excited to watch their business flourish. And I don't necessarily see them as competition, but more or less bringing more of a community to our state, because that's what's most important, I think, is having that community and having that unity.
Yeah, man. Jason talks about all the time. Community, bro.
I mean, that's what makes us happy as people. You know what I mean?
Having that community?
Being around people, I mean, you just want to sit around by yourself all day. I mean, sometimes I do. Sometimes I'm happiest in the garage. You know what I mean? 4 in the morning, it's like, it's just my happy place. You know what I'm saying? But, I think we all need each other at the end of the day, and it's important to have community. And you're to your point of abundance, right? Like, there is enough for everyone.
There really is.
But I don't think there shouldn't be room for the players that aren't necessarily doing it correctly.
Nope.
And I think all markets have their share of it. There's been a lot of it's been kind of recently uncovered in Oklahoma with like some of the illegal grows. Can you speak on that a little bit?
Like Moon Mix, so they had like some recalls and things like that. There's a lot of illegal grows that are getting busted. I don't necessarily know a lot of details on those, but
which is crazy because like an illegal grow in a market to where it's already, Brandon and I were talking about this off camera at your restaurant earlier, and it's like it's $2,500 to get a license. Why would somebody do it illegally, right? When it's so cheap. I guess $2,500 could still be a lot of money for people.
So the way that I can kind of see it is like there's no license cap. You can have as many licenses as you want. Are they going to really be able to come around to your grow to make sure you have a license? No. So those people that, want to get in the industry, they're cutting that corner initially and getting lucky. And then there's a few people that get really lucky and then get royally fucked because they don't do it the right way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's just easier to go
tainted
the right
weed,
way.
man. It was on the front page of the Daily Oklahoma last week. You see that?
No, I didn't.
So Oklahoma tests only to, I believe it's the 2nd decimal for pesticides and heavy metals. And because of that, there's a lot of weed that will fail for testing still for pesticides and heavy metals that's going through the Oklahoma market. And that's why 1440 came about, to basically try to eliminate that by using only the highest quality of material. But what the problem we're running into now is the market's not educated. The price points are so prevalently low that nobody wants to really listen to how great our stuff is and why it's so great. Because they can go get this stuff, like 5 of that for like this.
10 grams for 100.
Yeah.
10 grams for $100?
Yeah, bro. I mean, it's a great deal, but like
10 grams of like
it costs
weed?
Concentrate.
Flour?
No, concentrate. Yeah.
$10 a gram?
$10.
Yeah. Well, the other day I was at Champs, right? And
Just the other day.
Yeah, just the other day I was at Champs in Las Vegas, you know what I mean? Hanging out with some of the cannabis community. To be specific, some of the 710 community, and some of my buddies are the hardcore dabbers. And one of the guys had this big T-shirt on that said, "No more CRC."
Dude, please.
Yeah, you want to talk about that?
I want to know because I'm a little interested because I believe the CRC machine. Like, I'm not super knowledgeable, so I'm not gonna speak on it. But I do believe that the CRC is needed for certain products.
Certain products, for sure, understood. But when you have a good starting product, when you have really good quality indoor medicine that's got great terpenes and doesn't have all that nasty shit in it, pesticides, heavy metals, when it's run, all the naturally occurring things will come back as a great looking color. If it's not, it'll come back super dark, in which it goes through that CRC process to lighten it. When it goes through that process, you're stripping that plant, or you're stripping the, whatever that is, of its naturally occurring terpenes, and then reintroducing stuff later, or not. And so what you're left with most of the time is a really heavy limonene scent, and it's just kind of harsh on the lungs, kind of harsh on the nose. And I mean, if I'm trying to treat something medicinal, I'm going to look for the naturally occurring stuff. I'm not going to go store-bought. Right.
Yeah. And then so like when you're doing distillate, right? There's a similar process, right? So
very similar process.
Can you speak to the main differences?
In distillation and CRC, probably not.
When in terms of like distillate, sometimes we'll pull out all the terpenes.
Yeah, that's
too,
what distillate does.
Just yanks it all out of there. So it's just, you end up with kind of the same type.
Yeah,
of
it's
situation.
manufactured cannabis, and distillate is just meant to get you high. That's what it does. It's
99% THC. That's it. Right?
Crazy.
Nothing else.
But the place where we work, we're able to solventlessly pull off those terpenes and reintroduce them back into our distillate, which makes it cannabis derived terpenes, which makes them still natural.
Right.
Almost making it full spectrum.
Which, correct, and I think it's more expensive that way. And
Absolutely.
So that's why people don't do it, right?
Yeah.
And then, so let's talk about, what was I going to say? Shit.
I was going to talk about the CRC because we make infused pre-rolls, and we use crumble or honeycomb for our infused pre-rolls just because we like the consistency of it, because it makes it easier to mix into the flower.
Yeah.
But that goes through a CRC.
Yeah, and that's completely fine, because that's what you're purposing it for, is to kind of be drier.
Yeah.
When you're making concentrates for people to dab, like myself or the sesh guys, you want it to be natural. You don't we don't look at that white stuff that people get super hyped about and be like, oh yeah, that's fire. It's probably still good. It's got good qualities to it, but you could make better stuff if you tried to.
100%.
Yeah. So what would you say to a patient that's looking for a distillate vape, but then they want a certain strain of the distillate? Because once you
ask for test results. Ask for test results.
Because will the strain still matter once they've all went through that distillation process and everything's kind of stripped out?
If there's terpenes in that distillate, it will matter. Because you're not going to have an indica or a sativa distillate, but you can have a distillate that has more sativa leaning terpenes in it.
Right.
It still won't make it a sativa distillate, but you'll have some uppity effects or some sedative effects with it.
I was told by someone that I'm not going to mention their name, but we had a conversation about this person yesterday who owns a edible brand here in Nevada, a very big one, that it does when they make their edibles, that it does not matter what kind of distillate they use, because they just slap the package on it. It's like if it's indica sativa hybrid, they just put it over it.
What?
I've been told that.
Yeah.
I've been told that
there's people like that in Oklahoma too.
Who just
I visited labs where there was kids and people smoking, and it was just some weird stuff. But you'll run into that. You'll run into people that don't care.
Yeah, they don't care, right? They're just this, because in their mind, they believe that all distillate is the same, which in a sense is this. Until he was, they were saying, it doesn't matter if I put sativa or indica or hybrid on this.
You could terpene enrich that distillate and make it do some other things.
Yeah, or just not and just pretend that it is.
Just not and tell people, hey, you have fun with this.
So it's just interesting too, because chirpings matter so much and education matters so much. But me and JC talk about it all the time. There's always going to be the people that don't give a flying fuck. They just want to get as high as possible for the cheapest amount.
That's so.
And they matter too.
They
do matter, right? Because
everybody
it's a person
matters.
too.
Yeah, and so the way that we combat those people getting shitty products that can potentially harm them is by trying to put pressure on these companies to do their things correctly.
Do it right. Please do it the right way.
Yeah.
Like it's not difficult. I know it costs a little bit less, or like a little bit more money to try to do it the right way, but in the long run, people will be a lot happier with you.
You know what's crazy is, and I digress here, but my parents sent me to a rehab center in another state, and I ran off with a girl from that rehab center to another city, and I never went back home.
Wow, both named Jeff.
And my name's Jeff. That's crazy.
Both have similar
I
rehab
forgot
centers.
about that.
It's just funny because he went from the West Coast to the South, and you went from the South to the. Wait, wait, hold on. Let's settle the debate real quickly. Is Oklahoma the Midwest or the South?
That's Midwest. Why would you say that's the South?
I've been told it's the South.
It has Southern tendencies. Because I've literally lived everywhere. I've lived in Florida. I have lived in, I've lived in Vegas for a couple of months.
I mean, is Texas considered the Midwest?
No.
Okay, Texas is the South, buddy.
But it's right next door to each other.
Have you guys? No. Have you
There's
looked at a
parts
map?
of Texas.
I'm not here to argue rather if it's South or Midwest. I've just heard it's both. I've heard people just like, nah, Oklahoma's the South.
There's
I guess
a
it
small
depends on who you
argument about
ask.
it. No, there's a small argument.
People have asked me, like I said, I'm going to the Midwest. Like, no, you're not. You're going to the South.
It's actually the Midwest.
I'm like, no, that's Oklahoma is the Midwest. It feels like the Midwest to me.
I was born there, so I think I could be an authority on the topic.
Go ahead, speak on it.
It's the Midwest.
Are you sure?
Have you
It's
seen
close.
a map? Have you seen a map?
Have you looked at a map?
I haven't,
It's
honestly.
dead. It's dead in the center. It's just slightly.
It is.
Let me
Pretty
ask you
much,
this:
like,
do, you
right to the
think,
left.
do you then consider Colorado the Midwest? Is it the
That
West
doesn't-
Coast,
that doesn't feel
or
right.
is
It's
it
not
the
the West
Midwest?
Coast.
Can we get some audience participation? We have a couple people in the audience. What do we think?
Colorado, is that the Midwest? West Coast.
Gateway to the west.
I like that answer.
The gateway, the gateway to the West.
gateway.
Mom of Midwest.
Midwest?
Gateway.
It's Gateway.
It's a gateway.
Never heard the Gateway before, but I like it.
Gateway.
Okay, so sorry to get off topic there,
You're
but
good.
it's been something that I've been thinking about a lot lately. Like not a lot, but every time it goes to my mind, like, man, where am I going? The South or the Midwest? And then I was just in Colorado. I was like, is this the Midwest or am I still on the West? So.
But I do feel like Oklahoma's market is very blessed. As much prevalent, crazy stuff we have going on, we have just that much great community things.
Facts.
We have the sesh, we have so many media outlets, we have a lot of people that just try to get together just to have that community, and people I feel like drive for that community on a daily basis. And I've been back to the New Mexico medical market where their dispos they close at like 8 o'clock at night and there's no community. There's not a lot of people out on the streets advocating. It's just different. So
No, Oklahoma's a different beast, man. It's how I always wanted Nevada to be like. And you know what's so funny? And everyone really talks about this, but if you've been in the industry for long enough, especially if you're in the industry before it went rec, which me and JC were here in Nevada, the recreation, when it went from medical to recreational, it was like Disneyland for like a little bit here in Nevada. It was like people were just spending a stupid amount of money. Everyone was having a great fucking time. There was parties all the time. It was like, I felt like I was going out at least 3 or 4 nights a week just for cannabis events.
It was lines out the door of every dispensary for weeks.
Yeah,
For
people.
weeks.
Yeah, people like it. It was like non-stop. Like
that's the
people.
last thing Vegas is missing is a recreational weed market. Then you literally have everything.
And it was so crazy how they did it too, because I guess they do it in all markets, but it was like it happened at midnight, right? And so it's Vegas, so the dispensary stayed open
24 hours.
and it was like at midnight. That's when it happened, and people were lined up at midnight at dispensaries.
I was
all over
in
the
I was in
town.
Reno and I lined up at midnight.
Were you? Yeah. I was at New Leaf. we made like protest, not protest, but like protest signs, like when it was the old alcohol prohibition signs, and it was like free weed, and everybody was like holding their signs up. Pretty cool.
I remember that.
Yeah.
It was just a crazy time, and so like now Oklahoma is like that, but like all the time,
every day.
Yeah.
every day.
Like there's a rally, there's a march. We're going through our 4th OMMA director. This one in particular voted, I'm pretty sure, no against 788, which is the program in which allows us patients to freely medicate.
And so when you say for the Medicate, like you can smoke anywhere.
Anywhere cigarettes are allowed.
And he voted no on that?
This lady did. She did. This is our fourth representative of OMA.
I thought that was already in. That was already a law.
Oh, it's already a law. I was just kind of precursor.
but
She said, I don't want that.
But she didn't think it was a great idea.
Yeah, but now she's over everybody.
Now she's over everybody.
It's just interesting how the politics work there, man. Well, how do you feel about Metric?
I honestly think it's a good and a bad thing. It's good because it pushes people to do the right thing. It pushes people to, operate the right way. I just don't feel like they need to gouge the people that are doing it. Like, it's way too costly.
Yeah, it's super expensive.
We make a lot of money on taxes on weed already, and that money should be allotted to go for those metric tags.
That's a good
If
point.
there was no other, if there was nothing standing in the way other than the money thing, I think people would be on board with it.
Mm-hmm. Well, there needs to be a centralized system. Like that is
Where's
one.
the money going?
Yes.
There's a lot.
Is it a lot? What do you think? What does tax revenue look like in Oklahoma? Do you know?
We could look it up.
Yeah, let's
we
look.
have.
I love
it's
that.
incredible.
I know it's a high number, and I know there's over 200,000 patients in Oklahoma now,
I think it's 350,000.
and which is it's 10% of the population or some crazy shit.
Dude, everybody has a Medicare.
I think it's 7.5%.
And then you think about how many people don't have Medicards that are still going to
the
dispensaries.
Oklahoman posted an article. Oklahoma marijuana sales passes $1.5 billion.
In
But how is
sales.
the tax? Yeah, in sales. But how is the tax getting used? This was published in June, so it's already kind of a story. Yeah, $1.5 billion in medical marijuana since it became legal in 2018.
And then
I think it's really. I think what you're
The
saying.
state collected more than $110 million from the 7% marijuana tax. And
Yeah, those tags should be paid for because
That's crazy. I didn't think about
where's
that.
it going?
I mean, that's a great idea. Like why is the business paying for Metric when the state is the one that benefits the most?
Because
from it?
no one has stood up to them yet,
Yeah.
except for the good
Truly.
people of Oklahoma.
Yeah.
God bless their soul.
Low-key,
John,
God bless their souls.
straight up.
They fucked up Metric. They said, nope, we ain't doing it. And
Three
then
separate times. It's awesome to see because they're standing up for the right reasons. But I mean, isn't Metric implemented here?
And every other legal market.
So it's coming, y'all. We just need to be able to.
Well,
not have to pay an arm and a leg for the stuff.
The other issue is too is that there's no other option. Why is there not a board of owners who are representatives for each section of their part of Oklahoma that are saying that we want to pick the one that we want? Metric's not the only player in this game. There's more players in the regulatory cannabis game, like BioTrack or Green Bits or any of these other ones that could really, make a. I think why is Metric getting all the same contracts? So.
I don't know either. They probably think
Uneducated directors.
Maybe they want the same platform.
It's just
True.
It's
Consistency.
Well, and I guess the other thing is that if let's just say all 50 states did go to Metric, right, it would make it really easy when we go federally legal so that you can do interstate commerce.
Oh my God! Can you imagine?
Which is so crazy to think about, right? Because Oklahoma is a perfect place where you could put up thousands and thousands of acres of grow houses.
I-40, yeah, dude. It's got two
And
of the
supply
major
the whole
highways.
country
It would
with
literally
cannabis.
supply the whole country.
Yeah.
And right now we have Bono Ape. I don't know if you know Sean Bono.
Mm-hmm.
He's creating a multi-level cultivation out there. It's going to be the biggest cultivation in the Midwest.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Bono Ape. He's out of LA. Shout out to you. Shout out to Sean. He's dope.
I gotta go quick shout out to my you guys know I own a restaurant. Viewers that know I own a restaurant, and I was leaving, and one of the chefs was like, "Yo, give me a shout out on the podcast." I watch it every week. He has a food truck in town. His name's Luis. His food truck is Tacos El Biggie. Make sure to check them out.
Tacos El Biggie.
Yeah, Notorious Big IG because his nickname is Biggie.
He got an Instagram?
I don't know if he does. I don't think he does. He's not like.
He's not
on the IG game, but
Okay.
he might have a personal. I think it's Luis Martinez.
You tell him I said he needs to get on the IG game.
I think he did, but then he got kicked off because he was doing some weird shit.
Does he cater
I'm
events?
doing weird shit.
He
bro.
does cater events, and his tacos are fire.
There it is. Boom. Tacos El Biggie.
Yeah, tacos are biggie.
Go follow him on Instagram.
I think he can't get in it or something. I don't know. Anyway, sorry, I have to give him a shout out. But yeah, sorry to get off topic.
No, listen. Thanks for coming on the show.
Dude,
Case guard,
I've looked
right?
forward to it. I love you guys. I appreciate you.
We love you.
for the time, and look forward to literally whatever we get to do next with each other.
gonna be lit.
It's gonna be dope. Let's go ahead and take a moment and tell viewers where they can find you. Plug yourself.
I am on Instagram at CaseGod, also at CaseGod Cannabis. CaseGod is social media wide. You can go search that on Facebook. You can also go to www.casegod.com. Look at some of my portfolio, also on YouTube and Twitter, TikTok, and all the rest of the stuff.
All that good
I'm
stuff.
busy.
Thanks for coming on, brother.
Thanks for
Love you guys.
Yeah. The Oklahoma cannabis photographer, bro.
Bang bang.
Right here.
We're just getting all these
right here in
Oklahomans
Las
on here,
Vegas.
bro.
I mean,
I love Oklahoma.
I do too. I love Oklahoma.
I'm so excited that we're going there next week.
I am too.
Buddy, come out.
It is going to be a banger. Listen, if you're from Oklahoma,
Charlie's. Oh, snap, dude.
Yes.
Charlie's party.
On the 11th, bro. Oof.
Oh, that's going to be the best photographed event of the entire year. That
I'm
dude's
pumped.
bringing out some... I'm not going to spoil it. Charlie,
Please don't
you're the
spoil
man.
it for
You're the
me.
man, Charlie. Oof, God.
I want to be so surprised. What should we wear, bro?
Be chill. Be comfortable, please.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cannabis event. There's going to be some dancing. But
I'm just gonna wear what I'm wearing right now.
Should I
Wear.
be drippy but comfortable, like a comfortable drip.
Comfortable drip. I like
I
that.
love
That's kind of like how I am all the time.
Yeah, I'm just like stretchy jeans, Air Force Ones, and a black T-shirt. So, comfortable drip for Charlie's party. We'll be there September 11th. If you didn't get invited, I'm really sorry. It was invite only. But listen, if you are going to be there, make sure to connect with us. We're trying to do some content while we're there. We're trying to do all the things. So make sure hit us up. We'll be in Tulsa on the 9th, 10th, and the beginning of the 11th, and then pretty much all afternoon on the 11th. 12th and 13th will be in OKC, so hit us up. But before we go, we have some pop-ups this weekend, JC.
We do have some pop-ups.
Friday, which is tomorrow, we have our first pop-up of the day at 4 o'clock over at Vegas Treehouse. That's off of Trop and Decatur. That goes from 4 to 7, but we'll only be there for about 4 to 5:30, 4 to 4:45-ish. And then we'll be headed over to the Sanctuary North.
Yes.
Not the downtown Las Vegas location, the north location, which the north is pretty close to downtown as it is. Ish. So it's not too far from the downtown location. Is it First Friday still?
It is First Friday.
First Friday, so come get your products and go to First Friday. So that will be great. We'll be there from 6 to 8. That should be a good time. We're gonna have free food, not free drinks, free food, some music, live glass blowing, all the good
Penny
stuff.
pre-rolls with purchase.
Penny pre-rolls with purchase. I mean, you're not gonna want to miss out. And then Saturday, we have Green Dispensary. What time is that at?
That's going to be from 3 to 6.
3 to 6 over at Green Dispensary. That's off Twain and Decatur. Make sure to come check us out. Do you have one on Sunday too?
No.
That's it.
I think that's it. Yeah.
So we have those three. Listen,
the three.
yeah, come see us. It's going to be a grand old time. If you missed out on any of those details, just check us out on Instagram. Is there anything else?
That's a wrap.
Go buy a Hustler.
Go buy one.
Go buy some.
I can't wait to smoke
Go
them.
buy some Culture and Cannabis products if you haven't. And if not, we'll see you guys next Thursday. Peace.
Peace.